In today's video, I'm working with my teachers on the first principle of becoming a One Tao teacher, and that's love, serve, teach, heal are the principles. Love is like the ultimate defense because it doesn't allow any negative frequencies within you. We do a meditation from Daskalos, the Magus of Strovolos, who's teaching a Christ meditation on unconditional love. Hope you enjoy.
What I wanted to go over today is the actual principles of teaching, the main principles that I learned from the researchers of truth as a teacher and as a leader to love, serve, preach, heal. These are the four pillars of the kind of system for the research of truth, or it's also based on the Christian teachings through Daskalos. Now, I just wanted to go a little deeper into the first one today, just because love. Firstly, because I've been unloving the last few days. So I'm teaching myself as well as sharing it with you. So it's just as much for me as it is for you guys. I just had a life situation where history is repeating itself. Anyway, long story short, without giving away too many details, I attracted people to betray me again because I realized that I was tolerating that type of behavior in my space, thinking I was doing the right thing, but realized now that I wasn't keeping my energy clear by tolerating certain behaviors and actions and types of people. But I'm super grateful now. But what I did notice over the last few days is that the mind going to, fuck those, yeah, like a negative place. And so I realized that I was definitely charging demonic elementals, and that's not a good thing to do as a teacher and as a leader. So I just wanted to revisit that first principle, love. And it's not only is it the first principle of teaching, it's also the first principle of the code of conduct, or the One Tao code to love life, love oneself, love others, and all situations under all circumstances, right? Yes, exactly. It was a good reminder because to be fair, there was a lot of things coming at me from people that I was hearing about. So, when it's fresh and it comes at you, and your natural reactions might be to resist or butt back against things. So that was the kind of John's natural reaction. But in meditation and reflection, I realized and I think we've all realized it before, to stay in a loving frequency within oneself is so much more powerful because from a spiritual standpoint and from an internal martial standpoint, we want to let go of force, let go of tension, resistance, and strain. And the thing is that anything below integrity and even some of the above integrity still have a sense of resistance, meaning especially below integrity. So anger, fear, doubt, worry, blame, complaint, all of those hold force within them. And because I was allowing myself to go into those frequencies, I noticed levels of tension in my system, psychologically and physically and energetically. So I went back to the meditation that I learned from the researchers of truth, which is an unconditional loving meditation. And couple of things. One thing is that there's two sayings are going on in my head, and I'm finding them quite powerful. So I've been doing this meditation for about 10, 11 years, this unconditional love meditation. So you may have touched on it, and it's super powerful. So I went into it and dissolved all the negativity pretty quickly, which is awesome. But the thing is that you forget to go to it. And the second thing is I choose love no matter what. I choose love no matter what is the one mindset. And the other mindset is you get what you tolerate. All right. So I realized I was tolerating things within myself and from others. And the other part is to choose love regardless. And you combine those two, and it seems to have a very strong shielding effect. Shielding / uplifting. So today we're going to actually do that meditation. And we're working with all the different energies or ether, as Dassler would describe, in order to clear out emotional and forceful blockages within the system, and to once again align with that first teaching principle, love, and also the first principle from the code to love life. And I'm the first to put my hand up to say I've been guilty over the last day or so, back and forth, of falling out of that frequency. But I suppose the good thing is that it's showing me personally things that need to be surrendered. Like principle 6 of the code, right? Grateful surrender. As much as I was using grateful surrender, I was like, I'm so grateful that I'm aware and surrender. So for example, and let's go a bit into that for a second because it's interesting. So the first part of grateful surrender is, okay, when a negative situation, whether it's physical tension, emotional, energetic, or relational tension, you go, okay, I'm grateful for the opportunity to surrender this. So you can allow it to be there to release it. But then there's also like a mindset around it too, meaning if some person, for example, shows that they are unintegrous or shows that they're really a wolf in sheep's clothing, you can be grateful that you now are aware of that. So see, there's another way of approaching that concept. One is an awareness of a person's true colors. The other is an awareness of something that needs to be released within ourselves, which is actually the more important point. Basically, it was last night, through meditation, contemplation, because I wasn't able to sleep because it was just, it's quite challenging. But anyway, point is, I went into that unconditional love space, and which we're going to do in this meditation today. And that has eased out a lot of the actual resistance, force, and tension. And I'm actually staying in a loving frequency, even when these people come to my mind, which is, wow, fuck. That may seem simple and a bit trite, but knowing myself from youth and from the past, when someone wronged me or whatever, how angry I would get and the things that I would do or wish to do, compared to being able to have a sense of lovingness while I think about people that literally stab you in the back, so to speak. For me, it's a big jump. So I truly believe this is one of the most useful tools for both spiritual, personal, and martial development. Now, spiritual and personal is quite obvious, but then when we say martial, it's like, what do you mean martial? How is that possible that martial could be developed? Because letting go of forceful emotions lets go of tension in your system, gets you a free flow of energy through your body. It's healing, it's expansive, it's the state. My master was never angrily throwing people around. He was always in a sense of awareness, consciousness, joy, and free flowingness. So before we start the meditation, do we have any questions, observations, or discussion points on that?
No.
Absolutely. For the week, I've been doing grateful surrender and sticking with that, but I noticed the kind of lower frequencies coming back, trying to pull me back into the demonic realms.
No, it's real.
Unfortunately, I was catching myself there. And then you say something like, I should fucking smash that cunt. You know, you say that, wait a second.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah.
So this meditation, essentially, it's about really focusing on staying in the frequency of lovingness regardless.
Congratulations. Because boys, let's be honest, our evolution into our spirit and into our potential is hugely based on what we're able to let go of. It's like being able to let go of, or maybe stepping into the release might be a better way to say it. So the letting go process, surrender, devotion, alignment with that is really the key to our evolution spiritually and physically and as a human being, so to speak.
James, I realize my mental body is loving surrendering, as that has been forceful. Oh, do you mean you've had a bit of force in the mind, and via surrendering, the mental body's enjoying? Okay, gotcha. The mind can be both forceful and powerful if you think about the map of consciousness, right? And even in the realms of power, there's still a layer of force, meaning cause and effect up until 499, right? So once you jump into 500 to the loving levels, there's still a layer of separation and resistance. So yeah, ultimately Hawkins teaches us, right? We want to transcend the mind / the mind and the ego are one. So transcending the ego is transcending the mind itself. Interesting, hey?
Exactly, I like that.
The mind is the ego. When you think of it in that way, you're like, holy shit. Yeah, because we put so much reliance on thinkingness in the mind. But if you just let it be a radio station and you be with what is, it really shows that which is actually good in relation to what we're going to be doing now, is that
Lovingness, like being in the frequency of love and experiencing love and oneness, wholeness, connection, joy, that sense of freedom that comes with it, requires no thinkingness. It's very interesting. So it's like living from that space. You'll get, you don't have to worry. You'll get whatever you need to do done. You'll eat your food, you'll sleep, you'll have your relationships, but you don't need to think about it so incessantly. Surrendering the mental chatter feels light in the body, says Jace. Yeah, for reals. All right, boys, let's get started with our meditation for today. Sit yourself comfortably. Take some deep breaths. Calm down the mind, settling all the emotions, and simply feel you are living. This exercise is an exercise that Daskalos taught. He taught us that this was one that he would teach to his disciples. Breathe deeply, tune with life. Feel it in the air you're breathing now. See it in the trees. Feel it in your warm red blood. You are living. You are life. Now focus your attention softly in your heart center. Sense the space in the heart. See and feel the rose-white sun radiating from the heart center. See this rose-white energy expanding into the whole body. Feel only love in your heart. Love life. Love yourself. And love all other human beings, especially those that believe they are your enemies. Now, sense this rose-white light, feeling this loving frequency. Imagine in front of you some person from the past, some person from your life you've had disagreements with, some misunderstanding or misalignment. See them standing in front of you. Feel and see this light, this loving energy from the heart center, shining, lighting up this person. See them smiling to you kindly. Forget all the differences. Forget what they said. Forget what you said. These are just like leaves blowing in the wind. They mean nothing. What matters is that you are living. They are living. And we're all one under the same Father, God. Tell them with your mind. Tell them that you love them. It's a language that the archangels understand. Enough. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Yeah, that's the meditation. You can sit in that for as long as you like. I like to couple that with, personally, I couple that with a decision to choose love no matter what, and to really stay in the feeling quality. Like I see it as like a rosy white aura, like a shell of rosy light, and I just stay in that frequency, and it feels any negativity that I have within myself or that I'm subconsciously sending to others. And that's the point. Us as teachers, as leaders, as people who are looking to help, it's not just helping your students, it's helping anyone and everyone. I admittedly had been sending negative energy unconsciously, and this is a good exercise to de-energize that. Because the thing is that the negative thought forms we create, we can disenergize them, but we must do it consciously. We must actually consciously do it. So when you see that person in front of you and you feel whatever comes up and you surrender it and you go into a loving condition, you're transmuting whatever negative elementals you've sent to them unconsciously. And more importantly, you're really doing it for yourself. It's because you're freeing yourself of the poisons within you. As the Buddha said, being angry with someone is like picking up a hot coal to throw at someone, but you're the one that gets burnt. So anyway, observations.
It's interesting because two strange things happened the other day. Not the other day, but the last week or so that I have been amiss with respect to our classes. First was I was at a Walmart or Target, I don't know, someplace to shop for cheap Halloween shit. And I'm just tagging along. And I noticed some guy's got some strange energy and he's corralled a few people, or the people are corralling around him. I can't tell which it is. And I just steer my life in another direction. And sure enough, the guy circles around and comes back, and wife's walking ahead, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Excuse me." I'm like, "Not gonna help you, brother." And he's like, I don't need any money or anything. I got all this stuff. And and he wants me to buy it for him. He's got a tent. He's a homeless guy.
Yeah.
And I look right at him and I go, "Spiritually, brother, you picked the right guy. Unfortunately, I haven't had a job in 2 years." And he goes, "Oh, can you pray for me?" And I looked right at him and I said, of course I can. Shook his hand, and you could see in his eyes, that this guy's been battling without the tools for a long time. So I mentioned it to a prayer group, said some prayers for him, stuff like that. But one of the things I noticed with respect to the second thing is with respect to the people that trigger some things they don't want to trigger in you. I wouldn't want to trigger shit in you. I already know that. I don't think people need to be triggering stuff from me. So I noticed that without the tools that you've been giving them, you've been saying them over and over again, and you said a lot today, and I wrote a lot down. But there's an element of, with respect to what you're saying and what I've been able to do through your teachings, is a separation or removing yourself from the place. They're creating this energy, putting this stuff on you. I guess I hear a lot of people calling it that. People are like, oh, don't put that on me. But I'm just talking about separation so that you're there and they're in whatever place they're in, because that's the place they're creating. And by being present, it serves like a mirror where they're aware of the fact that they're in that state and we had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. By staying in your energy, staying in your level of consciousness, for example, let's say staying in a state of lovingness, it's like that light or that energy allows them to be more aware of themselves. The angry person may forgive someone in your presence because you've helped them. Because essentially we're all connected, right? We're all a part of the same field of life, the quantum field, consciousness, call it what you want. So as let's say you're in that loving vibration and someone comes along and needs help, they may come towards you like the guy that did come towards you. It's funny, you can go the other way depending on the vibration of the person. But the whole idea is that we light the way for others, bro. So yeah, it's good. It definitely allows that people have to want to, though. For example, with the situation I'm in at the moment, I've made a decision to no longer allow people or energies into my life which are unintegrous, draining. And it's funny, like one of the people involved in the situation has been incessantly calling me and saying like, why are you not communicating with me? And it's like, the fact that they don't know why I'm not communicating with them is a part of the problem. If like the fact that you can't see why I'm not communicating shows that there's an issue there. If that makes sense. It's like, it shows that our values don't match. Because let me put it in a simple way, and this is not related to that event or person. It's like someone steals from you, right?
Imagine someone comes to your home, steals money from your wallet, takes your computer, your camera, and then you choose never to invite them over or to speak to them again, and they call you up saying, hey, what's up? Why aren't you speaking to me? Do you understand? It's like, if you can't understand why I have chosen not to engage, then our values are obviously so far misaligned that there's no point. So anyway, I just use that as an example of, yes, being in a loving frequency will help people to see themselves in a more conscious way if they are willing and they want to. You got to remember, some people don't want to. Some people just don't want to. Some people want to be fucks. Do you know what I mean? Some people just want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Christ. So there you go. Yes, we do our best. But if, for example, Christ was doing healings in that city and no one really wanted to be helped, so he was like, I wash my hands of this, I'm out of here. Next, even in his hometown, they didn't appreciate him. So he was like, all right, I'm out of here. Peace. As I became older and wiser through experience, after being, for lack of a better word, not to be a victim, but betrayed. I don't align with the mindset of the victim, don't get me wrong. But if someone obviously cheats you, you could call it a betrayal if there's a level of trust, right? So I'm not saying, oh, poor me, because I don't want anyone's sympathy. Fuck that. I don't want your pity. You learn that there are wolves in sheep's clothing. You learn that there are vipers and snakes. You learn that there are people that are just like a dead body rotting. Yes, vampires, like rotting in a coffin. And it's not that we have to hate them. It's actually the opposite. We love them, but you don't have to allow them to drain you, so to speak. Yeah. That's the thing, bro. I was allowing my energy to be. It's not because people will say,
you got you off your center line.
They'll say they did that to you. They did that to you. But no one did anything to me. Let me explain. I attracted that to myself via my own vibration. I had that in me. I'm aware of the kind of origins in this lifetime. I think I've already told you about how my father had a secret family, and I found out when I was 12, 13, which put a sense of betrayal in my subconscious. I buried that with drugs, alcohol, violence, and crime. And then learned to surrender it over time.
Realizing recently, just over this last week, that there was still some more in me. So what I'm trying to highlight, the point here, James, is that it's in me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's not that person.
Yeah, totally.
This person.
I had something similar happen. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So an observation is I focus on my mantras and I focus on letting go of things I need to let go of. And all of a sudden, stuff keeps happening, but not like it was. And the next day or so, it appeared. I'm like, holy shit. Totally forgot about something I need to let go of. Like it was like a ghost just showed up. It's like, oh my God, gotta let go of that.
Yeah. Yes. Because we do, especially as men, we have this habit of repression and suppression. You're brought up to think men don't cry, men shouldn't show their feelings kind of thing. So when you do get a feeling come up, you just push it down and get on with it, toughen up rather than dealing with it on an emotional or even spiritual level. So yeah. So the combination of grateful surrender, that's one good one. So as things come up, you go, I'm grateful for the opportunity to surrender this, which brings us to the loving frequency. So now we get into a state of love. We say, I choose love no matter what. But then we can further say, these things in my life, these situations are a result of me. I have drawn it to me. It's something inside me which has magnetized that towards me.
Taking that level of responsibility is not easy for most people, but for someone like yourself, like us, who wants to evolve materially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you must take that level of responsibility. I have attracted this to myself. I'm not a victim of this, because instantly as a human being, we'll naturally not want to blame ourselves. So we'll say, oh, they did it. They did this to me, right? But then straight away you go down below integrity, right? Your levels of energy go down to victimhood, and then you attract more of that fucking rubbish, right? So if we play it out, we stay in the I am. So basically the line of integrity says, I am responsible. You know, the 199 to 200, I am responsible, right? So you can transcend and continue to go upward.
And I appreciate the compassion and the empathy. But I think as teachers, we need to be aware that whatever's fucked up in your life or my life, or whatever things we don't like, is our own fucking fault, full stop. We have attracted it to ourselves via the vibrations we tolerate within us. There's a saying, you get what you tolerate. And that kind of kept popping out from different sources as this thing happened over the last week for me, right? You get what you tolerate. And my first layer of conceptualization was, I'm tolerating these people, so I'm getting it. But then I realized I'm tolerating the vibration within me. You get it? That's the kind of crux of that links to what I'm talking about. To stay in a loving condition no matter what is a choice. It's a choice, right? And it's a point of focus, right? Because you actually don't experience like life. You experience what you focus on. You're experiencing what you focus on through life. So what am I getting at, bro? Is that by making the decision to stay in a loving frequency, by owning the vibrations within us, you then start to, this is what it feels like, seems like, you master your internal vibration because you have the fucking control. Whereas as long as we keep saying, it's this person, it's that person, it's my dad, it's my fucking weather, it's the government, it's the pumpkins, as long as we keep blaming everything else, we have no power because you've given it away. So as soon as we go, oh, this is actually because of me, which reminds me of that Jocko guy, the Marine, kind of he's like an army guy, Jocko Willem. He says radical responsibility. That's the way to say it. Radical responsibility. Yeah. So anyway, in summary, unconditional lovingness in order to release tensions and negativities in our own system. Jay, let's bring it over. Yeah, meaning from a martial standpoint, we want to release force. We want to release resistance. Any type of lower vibration is a level of force and resistance, so you'll never truly enter into the highest levels of power. So martially, it's important. But then just from a personal and spiritual level, it's the love that connects us and allows us to feel that sense of wholeness, oneness, spiritual alignment, connection with family and friends, actually releasing force and tension, personally enjoying life in a good frequency, expression of life in relationships and career and everything is better fueled by that. Stepping into your spiritual intention, your highest potential, requires a new level of self. It requires us not to be the same level of self which we're looking to transcend. What does that mean? It means we're looking to let go of whatever blockages, hardships, resistance, force, tension, programs, paradigms, negativities that are holding us back from the natural light within us, which is our potential, which is our spirit. So yeah, once again, we can bring it back to the state. Stay in alignment with your spiritual intention. So center in your intention and then sense and sink the fuck out of all the negativities as they arise. And the state is just a very practical way, us as spiritual martial artists, because that's a good way to term what our kind of mindset is. We love martial arts, we love spirituality. So spiritual martial artists, the states is a great way for us to do that. What did Jay say? When your aim doesn't pull you up, what do you do? Do you mean like your when you say your aim, Jace, do you mean your focus? Like what you're focusing on doesn't get you a heightened. Okay. Focusing the mind, two parts here. Firstly is what is the thing the way you're focusing on the thing. So for example, let's say you're focused on this pen, right? This pen, you could be focused on this being a shit pen, or you could be focused on this being a good pen. So first thing is, how are you aiming? Meaning not what are you aiming at, but what is the lens you are aiming at with? So for another example, when you're thinking about money, are you thinking about the scarcity of it or the abundance of it? So that's one part to be aware of. The second part is, as you know, this is nothing new, it's surrender. I'm feeling a sense of misalignment, negativity, whatever it might be. Sense it, be grateful for the opportunity to surrender it. So it's those two key components. It's not just what you're aiming at, but how you're aiming at it. So the lens you're looking at the thing you're aiming at, so to speak. Are you wearing blue lenses or red ones? And then letting go, truly to actually surrender it. So it really is those two key components: spiritual intention and devotion. That might be the game there as well, Jace. So to just go further on the first question before I answer the next one. When we look at the pen and we look at the sides of it often, and we start to go into surrender, what I've observed is a lot of people forget the devotion side. I surrender this to you, God, to remember that we are here in God's grace, a part of something greater. That part tends to potentiate the release in a quicker way. And then the next question is, and just keep rinsing and repeating until all surrender. Rinsing and repeating. I like that. Yeah, pretty much, brother. You allow it to be there. So got to remember, it's not the thing that's the thing. We take a level of responsibility. It's not the experience or the person or the place or the work or whatever that's the thing. It's an energy within us, right? So we allow it to be there with a state of grateful surrender and devotion. Interesting. It's like there's been a reminder.
And then another one shows up.
Yeah, the next layer. So you get stronger. That's the thing. You let go, you get stronger, you get better at alignment with the letting go and surrender process. And then the next thing may come up to be surrendered, but it's not as hard anymore. I don't think I allowed it to be there. I got angry at it. I feel you, brother. I feel you. That was my experience this week when things were happening in my environment and I was just getting angry. And I'd be like, then straight away, it's like a joke for me. If I notice myself get off center, as you mentioned earlier, James, I'll be like, fuck that motherfucker. Dear Lord, please forgive me for
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I hear it.
My instant reaction is always, oh shit, he did it again. You know, when you say I am a sinner, I can truly say I am, because I see myself all the time. When I'm cursing people, I know that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So come back to what Jason said.
Just feeling it.
I don't think I allowed it to be there. I got angry at it. I feel you, bro. Yes, intention and surrender, which we've already spoken of, but context also is powerful, meaning remembering that the context of the human experience is radio stations coming through us. So you didn't get angry at it. There was just a part of you was listening to Angry FM, that station, and those thoughts came through. Sometimes remembering the context of our life as humans can make it a little bit easier. Because what happens sometimes is we get angry, right? I'm angry. And then I'm angry at myself for getting angry. Or I get upset that I was angry because I shouldn't be angry, because being angry is not good. See what I'm getting at? As opposed to being like, oh, the anger's flowing through. I'm going to ride this anger wave up to pride and say, oh, now I might tune this a little up to responsibility and courage. I own these emotions within me. If we can remember that we're riding the radio waves of consciousness as opposed to I am angry, which is believing a falsehood, in the sense that we are an expression of life and consciousness. We aren't fully creating anger. It's a frequency. It's an alignment with anger. So context can be useful in that situation, Jace. Does that make sense, sir?
Jason can just smash the pumpkins. Here, I got this for him.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
He needed that.
It was like the ride was going up and then down when guilt, and then the next force jumped on the way. Yes, that's right. No, that's such a true experience, Jace. They're like a fucking cobweb. You get into one and the others pull them together. That's why Hawkins would talk about, think of all of the negatives rather than saying, oh, anger, fear, doubt, blame, worry, complaint. He said you can classify them all as upset and put them in one bucket. So you have one bucket and you call it upset. And then you surrender the whole bucket so that you allow all of them to release together, as opposed to getting caught in the next one, which is what the demons want to do. They want to trap you in the lower fields. So they want to trap our consciousness in the lower demonic realms and feed off it.
I
Got a visitor.
constantly.
Yeah. So it really becomes quite simple when you look at it from the perspective of the state. It's to be centered in your spiritual intention: love, peace, joy, enlightenment, freedom, prosperity, creativity, acceptance, courage, whatever it might be, right? You center in your spiritual intention and you rest in that frequency. And then as blockages come up, you release them. Now, that's the foundation of power generation in our martial system, right? So you stay centered in a good feeling as you release constantly and consciously, right? And then you move through all the form sequences, the shapes, the sparring, the techniques, as you stay in that. So martial arts and our way of practicing becomes a way of being, a way of walking through life, centered in spirit, letting go of negativities. And then you become a light and you can start to stand for the pillars of love, serve, teach, heal. You learn to love. You learn to apply love moment to moment. You learn to serve. Okay, how do I serve those around me and humanity at best? How do I teach? How do I preach? How do I share the message? And then from that, whether you do conscious healing or whether it's a byproduct of your condition. So I learned those principles from Daskalos, because he was, as you're reading about it, right, James? The Magos Astrobolos?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got it open right now.
Yeah, so he has a book called Joshua Emmanuel the Christ, where he talks about his lifetime when Christ was around, because he's fully conscious, apparently. And the principles of love, serve, teach, heal are in that book there, which is ones that, you know, when you feel into them, they feel good. Like, it doesn't feel, when you think love, serve, teach, heal, you don't go, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing for humanity. It feels good. Jace loved the summary. I'm glad you enjoyed it, sir. All right. Do we have any final discussion points, questions, observations before we finish up for today's session?
No, but you're going to have a great week because I'm going to be hard focused on this whole week.
Sounds good. That's what I'm focused on. I feel ya. Best train ride, says Jace. Yeah. You know, and to put it very simply, I choose love no matter what. I'm responsible for the feelings within myself. I love those who call themselves my enemies. So simply put, I choose love no matter what. You can just leave it at that. You don't even need to go any further. Even Hawkins would say, you can literally pick any one thing and take it all the way to heaven. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Much love. Peace, peace, peace.